Welcome to the Greenway Outdoors Podcast, your trusted source for outdoor information and entertainment. The Greenway Outdoors is also an internationally syndicated TV show and conservation advocate aimed at bringing millennials and Generation Z into the outdoors. Welcome to the Greenway Outdoors. The Greenway Outdoors is brought to you by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Motor Trend's Truck of the Year for the third year in a row. And by Bass Pro Shop and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Tracker Boats, fish the finest. And by these other fine sponsors. Hello and welcome to episode 81 of the Greenway Outdoors Podcast. I'm Kyle.
I'm AJ.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Ryan.
We are your favorite outdoor podcast that covers all the current events going on in the outdoor industry and also some pretty funny hunting stories from our hunting and fishing adventures that take place in the Greenway Outdoors TV show, which you can find on a bunch of streaming services. Check out thegreenwayoutdoors.com to find out where you can watch it, and also our YouTube channel where we just released episode 28, Sockeye Salmon from Alaska, which is one of our favorite episodes. So check that one out there.
I'm confused. When we started, you didn't say your last name. How will people know who you are and where to find you?
I think I did. Did I not? Did I just say Kyle?
I don't know.
My name's Kyle Green.
I don't listen for it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank God. Okay, now everyone knows. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, well, now that the most forgettable person on the team has spoken up, we'll go ahead and move right along. Did you guys do anything fun for Valentine's Day?
I went to the Fenton Hotel with my fiance.
That's a fancy restaurant in our hometown.
Yes, it's pretty good. I've only been there a handful of times, and it's good.
They have good frog legs.
That was in the Valentine's special
it?
menu. Yeah, and then I tried to convince Jenna to get escargot because she didn't even know what it was, and so I was trying to convince her to say yes to it before I told her what it was, and I couldn't get it a yes. So I told her what it was.
Would like it.
I've never had it.
There, especially there, it's really good.
Really?
Yeah.
You like frog legs?
Mm-hmm.
In my family, frog legs were like the thing for birthdays on my mom's side.
Oh, you guys didn't eat those like nightly?
There was a place called Clausen Steakhouse that was in
Clausen?
was in Clausen, and like near where I grew up. And they had frog legs, so like for my mom's birthday or whatever else, that would be like a big thing for her family
I
to go
really
and
like
get them.
them.
Yeah.
I had chicken feet in Chinatown, New York City.
Yeah.
Are they
Most
crunchy?
dumbest food ever.
Did they have the thing where it's a baby chick in the egg?
I don't know. I was pretty young when we went.
That's like a whole thing. I don't think I could do that.
I could.
You could?
Slip
Nah.
it right up.
No.
You just chew it, beak and all.
Really? It's like eating smelt. It's like
It probably would be.
smell. They're like the smell.
Just
Yeah.
Yeah. They're
get
like,
it down the hatch and hope you don't feel or taste it on the way down.
for those of you who don't know,
Ugh.
smelt are like a fish that you like. All you do is they're little, and they're found in Michigan, and they're really popular for ice fishing too. And people will just
You dip for them.
Fish feed.
Yep. Well, not ice fishing. You don't dip
Yeah,
for them, but
sure.
they'll cut off the heads and gut them, but you just like fry them and stuff, and you eat them spine and all.
Like anchovies?
Yeah, like you just don't care. Yeah.
I care.
No, it's like I think when you cook it, I assume they get soft. I've actually never had smelt. My dad likes it a whole lot. He used to get it Old Port in.
Old Port.
Another
Also
restaurant.
conveniently in Clausen.
Yeah, they are a quarter mile from each other.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I ate at 2 restaurants growing up. What do you want from me?
Had some real range.
I don't know. Frog legs offer a little. When you cook them, it looks like they're trying to hop around because the muscle's contracting, so the
I've
legs
never
are still.
seen them cooked.
Yeah, it's pretty dark.
Similar with turtles.
I've never had a good version of frog legs. It's always been like at a restaurant.
Very froggy.
I mean, kind of, yeah, but like from the buffet down the road, not
Yeah,
like
no.
at a good restaurant.
I don't think I've ever had frog legs.
I've never seen them cheap. I've never seen them like at a buffet type of deal. I've only seen them at like Clausen Steakhouse.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for real. They have
Huh.
live music there. My parents still go dancing there. Isn't that weird? Can
Wow.
you imagine my dad with his knee floating around
Y'all
that dance floor?
want to go dancing at the steakhouse?
Oh God,
Ugh.
are we trash?
Yeah, we're trash.
So you went to Fenton Hotel,
Yep.
got some dinner.
And
How?
we got a bottle of wine.
Now this is your first fiance version
hopefully
of
my only fiance.
yeah, it's Ryan's first fiance. Everyone loves their first one, No, your first fiance Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Yep. So it was the same as any other day
Yeah.
because Valentine's Day is dumb.
Yeah, I'm pretty anti.
Nice to know you
Day.
care.
Jenna wouldn't care if I said that about Valentine's Day.
Oh, for
She's we align over stupid things.
Some people, it's like a thing,
Which is dumb.
and I laugh.
Which is all the single girls on Facebook. Just so you know, I don't know who needs to hear this, but it's okay to be single on Valentine's Day. Treat yourself.
You do you. Okay? You do you.
Jenna did tell me yesterday that Valentine's Day is for the girls and Sweetest Day is for the boys.
But it's
I'll
not.
throw up at
They
both
treat
those
it.
statements.
They treat it the same.
I actually,
Yeah, it's about them either way.
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
Sweetest Day as a kid, I would wake up, and on the edge of my dresser would be a new Lego set.
I don't know what
Little-
Sweetest Day is.
Little Lego set.
Why were you getting it as a kid?
My
It's like
dad.
a couples thing.
No, it's my dad, my family.
What?
Yeah.
And you guys would wrestle to the love song, to the song Love Shack.
First of all, Love Shack is not a love song.
You guys would wrestle
It's
to
got
the
love in the title.
Let me give a little context here since Ryan's
Ah,
bringing
you're the
up
one
my
who said it.
family memories. As a kid, I was really tiny. So my dad felt the need to...
Oh.
Wait, Jesus. My dad felt the need to...
Just wait till he leaves out the open mouth kisses.
You guys need church. I mean, AJ.
Woof.
I mean, come on. Even AJ's not ganging up on me. Anyways, I was little, and my dad felt it was necessary to wrestle with me so I wouldn't be a wimp. And I would literally wrestle till like the death every night. Actually, a couple days a week. And then when he would get home from work, he'd be like, we'd put on music to fight to. And then I was obsessed with the song Love Shack as a kid. So that was one of the records we had, and we just put that.
Come on, Dad. Get it. Get it.
Love Shack. Love Shack, baby.
You know what? You guys are just jealous because your childhood. I hope you enjoyed your cable. Okay, we had stuff.
It was great.
We had more fun going on at our house. That's why you're anti-social.
I just remember the first time that story was pitched to us, which I think was on a podcast. And you're like, yeah, we would every night we would wrestle to the song Love Shack. And we're just sitting there. What?
It's normal to us. I don't know. That's how I learned to fight.
Yeah, so is Tom
dad
Brady with his son.
My dad was.
There isn't really anybody you can call now. It's too long after, right?
See, I have written on our spreadsheet that we were supposed to talk about Valentine's Day, and then wolf populations across the United States. Not this.
Hey, Mr. Green.
No. Yeah. My dad was a Taekwondo brown belt actually. So he was really into that stuff and taught me how to fight. So dispatch you pretty quick, stupid.
Stupid.
Maybe back in the day.
Taekwondo,
Daddy
but a
gets you a
laser
bear hug
pointer.
now. But yeah, so and then he's like, what music do you want to listen to? And I had a cassette player as a kid too that I recorded Love Shack off the radio on
nice.
repeat on my cassette player. And I had it on there 9.5 times on my cassette, and I would listen to that on my first little Walkman. Yeah,
On that last half.
yeah.
Nice.
We were the tail end of that because CDs were not long after.
I had some cassettes growing up.
CDs were going on. My dad was just nostalgic with the record player.
Yeah, I liked the cassette that had the plug coming off of it that you put into the old cassette players to plug in your CD player, so that you could play in your old car.
The original aux cord, essentially.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
After that, when I'd have my settled down chocolate milk after, we'd watch
Ensure.
Yeah, I drank Ensure too to try and grow. Can we quit with this? And then we would watch Michigan Out of Doors actually. So that was back a while back too. It would have been Fred Trost, like some of the repeats and stuff like that. Before the pudgy guy took over, but yeah, it was. I just shoot my shot. I don't even care anymore. But yeah,
I do want to go back to the stupidity of holidays. Valentine's Day being one of them.
Yes, preach.
Mm-hmm.
On top of all of them, the most overhyped, stupidest holiday. I despise it.
What is
it? Makes me so mad.
Easter.
No.
He's gonna say New Year's.
Whoa.
No, it's New Year's. It's so dumb. New Year's resolution. If it takes a new year for
the
you
only
to decide
holiday
you want to
that
go
every-
work out,
This is it.
you're a moron.
New Year,
Sweetest
new me.
Day and Valentine's Day trump New Year's Day.
No
by-
chance.
by a
New Year,
fall.
like celebrating the New Year is like the only thing every culture throughout time can agree on.
Yes.
True.
Valentine's
Not
Day
exactly
was
the
made
Saying you
up.
sound like an idiot.
Not exactly when it is, but close enough.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You can't even say that because every single country celebrates a different
Because
day.
Jesus was in the summer and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, and It's the dumbest thing. Anyone who has the New Year's resolution, you're dumb, you're
I'm
dumb,
with
you're
you on
dumb,
that.
you're dumb,
I
you're
agree
dumb.
with that.
Just if you want to do something, pick a day and do it.
I
And the
quit-
other thing is,
I
why are
quit-
we getting excited about time?
It's not.
Midnight. Yes.
Time isn't real, too. What are we talking about?
I quit counting when the Mayans did. I did.
2012.
I did.
I religiously followed the Mayan calendar, and this is nice. This is just extra.
Yeah, we're in the bonus years right now.
Now my favorite holiday is the 4th of July.
Amen.
America.
Church.
I mean, I'm gonna go Christmas, Easter, then
Passover.
I'm a big fan.
Passover.
I'm a big fan of
Hanukkah.
Halloween.
Hanukkah.
Halloween's a good holiday.
I enjoyed it as a child. Your mom made
It's
it
just
special.
fun. You can still decorate for it.
I know a person
Halloween's
in a turtle
probably-
costume who thinks different.
Halloween's probably.
Says the kid who won't dress up. Finish your sentence.
I always dress up.
You dressed as a hunter.
He
You wore
dressed
our
up, He
apparel.
dressed up as you.
Yeah, you green turtle.
Be grateful.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Are you picking on my snowboard outfit now?
I
I gotta quit calling it.
You
an
were a
outfit.
turtle. You were
I
a
say the
turtle.
word outfit, and I don't mean to, but my turtle costume when I went to Florida.
Yeah, you know the costume you wore for Halloween.
That was a turtle.
I was
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
5 years ago. I just
It's a
And
reference to
I
you-
do dress
it's a
up on a
reference to your
podcast.
life.
I wore a banana.
That's true.
that's
yeah.
true. That's true.
You
And
also-
for Christmas,
You wore a Christmas. Like Santa
for
thing.
Christmas, I wear a suit coat that has Santa Claus's face printed all over
Yeah.
it.
What
One
you
So
year-
to
were-
say I don't
no,
dress
no,
up.
year.
No, don't bring that up. You were the worst Santa ever.
Your fake eggnog.
Force feeding us mayonnaise.
I didn't force anything.
What are
You did.
No, I didn't.
You
I
did.
said, here, try this.
This
We
sounds
all
like
agreed
This
to
sounds like
drink
worse than
eggnog.
wrestling with my dad. Jeff said Ryan's force feed him mayonnaise.
You were there.
Frog
and you
water.
had and you had it.
My favorite was you drinking the eggnog first, and you go. And I watch you like you're gonna spit it back in the cup. I go, don't you dare.
No, AJ did.
AJ said-
AJ said it. You didn't say it.
Somebody
I
said
watched it 3 times. For those of you wondering what we're talking about, we did an eggnog challenge on Christmas one year where Ryan, we were supposed to try all these different eggnogs, and then Ryan emptied one out and then filled it with disgusting things and got us to try it. You can check it out in the link in our below in our on the description in our video. You can find it there if you want to watch it. But it's funny, but it's not very nice. I think we should move on.
Yeah.
And with that, I want to talk about wolves again, and I hate to even do this. And it's funny because AJ doesn't keep track of this news, and he's like, "We're not talking about wolves again." And I'm like, "No. Things keep happening. It's not my fault."
It's different, I swear.
it is and it isn't. So, those of you who don't know, during the tail end of the Trump administration, they did an assessment of the wolf populations across different states. For instance, in Michigan, I think they wanted to have. At one point, the original standards were something like we wanted to see 200 wolves in Michigan in order to have successfully brought back the population in Michigan. We've been cruising over 700 for a while now. So that's been the case.
So we're winning.
Yeah, we nailed it. I'm sure the farmers are really happy. So Trump delisted them as endangered because when a species is endangered, it can't be hunted at all.
Yeah.
Whereas when Trump delisted it, he said, okay, now we're going to give it to the management groups like the Department of Natural Resources and stuff like that. I'm just giving a little bit of context for what happened.
The thing that bugs me about it is that everyone's like, oh, they just delisted it, so that's it. It's like, it doesn't mean it's like free reign. You can go out and just do whatever you want with wolves now. All that means is the federal government isn't going to do anything about it. So now it falls to the state governments, and they decide what happens, which makes more sense because it's not, nationwide, they might be a problem, but state by state, they may be a problem in the other direction. There may be too many in a certain area.
And now the Department of Natural Resources say in Michigan, we'll focus on that one first. The Department of Natural Resources in Michigan is supposed to make decisions based on management, based on science. Now, what's happening is a lot of this stuff is getting put to votes in different states, such as Colorado. So the public is making decisions on whether wolves should be there. The public is making decisions on what the population should be. And a lot of it's based strictly on emotion and not science. And how many times have you had a conversation with somebody where it's like they clearly didn't understand both sides? They like only knew one, and then you're like, well, here's the other side of it. And they're like, wow, I didn't know that. Well, that's like everything with the wolves. So then once they have both sides of the information, they're like, oh, wow, I never heard of it that way. That's an important side of it. I didn't realize that. And that's what always seems to happen, especially with top predators that we feel close to, like the wolf. So anyhow, same thing happened. Federal judge in California overturned the ruling. And so now they made it so it isn't done at the federal level. Or they're just completely Endangered Species Act again. Now, this actually cancels out 2 laws that were pretty important to Michigan residents that are having problems with them killing their cattle, their dogs, everything like that. The one law is before, what would happen is if a wolf was attacking you or a dog or your possessions, you could shoot it and stop it. That is now illegal.
No.
Wait, well, even if it's a human? Even if it's attacking you?
You're not supposed to be able to shoot them. The law
That's nuts, if that's the case.
The next one is for cattle or livestock. So you can't, if they're killing your livestock, you just got to say, oh, you go get them, pal. You got Betsy. You take her to
tasty.
Yeah, that's the new ruling. And that's because someone in California said so.
Yeah.
And then the people in Michigan are like, well, but you're not even, because you're not
at least
here.
Can I at least get the money from my cat? No. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So this is what happens when you have that overreach of people. You're not allowed to kill them. They're endangered species. You have to leave them alone. So you're not supposed to interact with them anyway. So you're saying oh, if you kill them as a human being trying to stop them, just like a wild cat or something, I'm sure it would fall under the jurisdiction of if you were being attacked by a mountain lion, we're oh, you're lucky to be alive. But they're going to look into it hard. You know?
Investigate it.
Yeah, if you're doing it to save your own life or somebody else's life, I'm sure there's something there. But if you shoot the wolf, it's illegal. So you're not allowed to. But pets, completely off. That law is in stone now, not legible. You're not allowed to do it anymore.
It's not even legible?
Not even legible. Can't even read it. They used a magic marker.
No, just trust us. It's there.
Try erase.
So basically, though, it was only in place for a year and a half. So now, what does this look like? So now what happens is, the other reason is because of what happened in Wisconsin. So we covered this story as well. Basically, in Wisconsin, there was an allotment of wolves that were allowed to be hunted. And correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I believe I got this right. The Native Americans that live there believe that the wolf is sacred to them, and they do not want anyone to kill the wolves. So the Native Americans were given an allotment of wolves they were able to kill. I want to say it was 200, but I don't remember. It could be 100, and then it added up to 2 between the two. I don't remember.
There was a 200 in there somewhere. I remember that.
So it could be 100, and then the Department of Natural Resources gave tags for the other ones. Now, the other half. But the Native Americans weren't using the other half. So the Department of Natural Resources was like, okay, then go ahead and use the other half, for licenses. Yeah. So they went way over the quota of what they were actually allowed to kill. But the Native Americans didn't kill any. So they're like...
Because they didn't want to.
So because they weren't going to, the Department of Natural Resources upped it up because they needed to kill enough of them to manage them properly. Well, the wildlife organizations and stuff used that and said, see, look, they went way over their quota in 3 days, and they can't be trusted to manage the wolves. We have to put them back on the Endangered Species Act. Otherwise, we're going to lose them again. We can't trust them to manage it. That was they used that as a crutch.
These aren't even your wolves.
Right, it's a bigger story. The greatest part about it is they're reintroduced wolves that aren't actually... We don't even...
From there?
Yeah, they're not from there. We're just trying to put something there to look similar to what was there before, but they're not even related to the wolves that were there in the first place.
They don't even go here.
Right. You're not staff. So the whole thing is a bit of a hypocrisy. So now where do we stand on it? At the end of the day, I wasn't really for reintroducing the wolves in the first place because, especially in Colorado, because they have the largest elk herd there. The wolf populations just decimate the elk herds. They decimate a lot of things that, hunters want. We work really hard to get those numbers up, and then you have more and more wolves coming in. Now that they're on the Endangered Species Act, it's almost like people were tricked. They're too dumb to know it, but they were tricked where they reintroduced them and then put them, and now they're in the Endangered Species Act. So now it's let them run free now. It's it's like you open the door to the wolf, and now we just you thought you were letting one pet in the house, and now there's 72 of them, and you're like, well, yeah, and there's more, and you can't touch them. So it's that kind of stupidity.
And in the meantime, they're still working with, because the federal government took that power away from the state to continue to reintroduce them by saying that you're not allowed to do anything with them. So now the state's not allowed to even continue bringing more in or making sure their habitat's good or whatever. So they're actively trying to now work with the government. So now it's going to be slower because everything you do with the government's slower. So now they're going to try to continue doing what they're doing. It's going to be slower, so I guess that's good. But it's going to take them longer, and but they still have the same goal. They're going to keep trying to do it despite this rule.
Can anyone give me a solid reason why we needed to have wolves back there?
Right.
Yeah, just one.
Just I like.
They're in a movie I like.
It's Balto.
Yeah, go encounter one.
Yeah.
And then the people that are living, like we were making the joke, but it's real. Like the people that live in Michigan that have to encounter them every day, and their cattle are being killed and stuff. It's like somebody in California told you you're no longer allowed to protect your livestock.
Yeah.
You imagine telling my dad that, with Love Shack playing in the
You're
background.
more than welcome to come here and tell me that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. And then what happens when someone breaks the law then? And then they're the bad guy because they're like, no, you're not going to kill my livestock.
Here's what I will suspect will happen.
Shoot, shovel, and shut up.
Yep.
Yep.
That's exactly
I
what
was gonna say.
you're creating an environment. It's like whenever you make something illegal, you create a black market.
Yeah.
You've made something illegal that's inhibiting someone's profit. You're gonna see much worse numbers out of these wolves and never even know it now.
Yep.
Yeah.
They love it.
Because it will go unreported. So you'll have farmers who will sit out there and kill the wolves. It will go unreported because they can't do it. And next thing we know, why do we only have 100 wolves?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that I think before that happens, they're going to run rampant on elk and deer populations because that's less manageable. Yeah. And then as they get shot at for grabbing cows, they might do. I don't know. You're also going to have some negative human interactions. You're going to. And the fact that they're going to swipe every single house dog they can.
Yeah.
People treat their dogs, like family now. Someone goes after your dog. If you saw a wolf going after your dog,
it's the same.
You should have to if you not that we got to vote because just one judge decided, but imagine if we lived in a world where we actually voted on things. If everyone had a vote and they're like, okay, would you shoot a wolf or not if it was grabbing your pet? Because we're going to decide whether to keep this law in place or not. Yes or no? Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, okay, done. You know what I mean? I think it'd be 90%.
I would put it up there with if you asked every person in the country.
Yeah, did this even go up to a vote or was just
no
decree?
To be fair, it didn't either when Trump did it, when he got rid of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
they had some evidence that in some areas they didn't sufficiently prove that the population was successful enough that they could be taken off the list.
Okay.
But again, that's only in some areas. They may have already had new options in those areas to potentially improve them, but now we won't know if that worked or not.
Yeah, it's deeper than we're kind of alluding to too. So if you get down to like the nitty gritty of it, there's something that's really difficult for me. It's a very flawed situation. I tend to be somebody who's very small government, wants the smallest government possible with the least amount of influence as possible, and decisions left to the people. Typically, if you were to assess my voting record, you'd find a lot of that. Very small government, that sort of thinking, very constitutionalist. The problem is specifically with wildlife, and this is why I would say that probably one of the greatest conservationists of all time ended up being a Democrat, which meant something different back in the day, but Roosevelt was obviously incredible for conservation long term. That's why everyone knows it. Teddy Roosevelt was a renowned hunter and then did so many things for our natural resources that we still benefit off of today, that he made those moves that he did. So, but I tend to be very small government. But when it comes to wildlife, you have to have a little bit of a different thinking. I don't want wolves being reintroduced to go to a public vote because I know that the public is going to say, yes, bring them all back because it just sounds good, right? Just like I don't want it to go to a public vote of whether we should be allowed to hunt doves in Michigan because not enough people hunt doves to get the yes vote. But scientifically, there's a huntable population. So there's this weird conundrum for me and probably for a lot of people that think like me, because I think it's a pretty normal way of thinking in the outdoor industry to think the way I do. It's like I want – it's so weird. I want the Department of Natural Resources to be making the decisions based on science. I don't want it left up to a public vote. But then in the same way, I'm being a bit of a hypocrite because I'm saying I want the Department of Natural Resources to make the decisions for us because we're too stupid. That thinking does not carry into any of my other politics because then I don't want the government making almost any decisions. Yeah. So it's like
basically you want them using the science to make good decisions, but being able to prove, hey, here's why we're making the decisions. Like they should be held accountable.
Held accountable is a great way to put it. But how do you hold them accountable? You got Ted Nugent doing it, screaming his head off at him, but very few other people. So holding them accountable is difficult. And like the way one of the wolf votes that went in Michigan was, it was like, not only are you voting, if you're voting no, then you're also voting that you'll never get to vote again on it because it's going to go to the Department of Natural Resources and it'll never come back that you'll get a decision again. It's like, well, yes and no, but you could see it getting away. Most of the experiences we've had, I shouldn't say this actually, it's not true. I mean, the Department of Natural Resources makes dumb decisions all the time. We have the bait ban in Michigan. Stupid as all hell. I mean, that makes no sense because of chronic wasting disease. Now, to be fair, they did take it up the ladder to try and get rid of it, and then Gretchen Whitmer vetoed it, which was also a terrible decision. I wonder how many days she has in the field hunting deer that she made that decision for us. Right. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like how many days did she put in? Stupid law, makes absolutely no sense. The thing with the sandhill cranes, we're not allowed to hunt sandhill cranes in Michigan. However, there is a huntable population. If they made a license and a tag for them, there would be an even bigger population because those dollars would go towards the conservation of them. There's a sustainable huntable population. Makes perfect sense.
It's not debatable. It's been proven with many different species.
And they won't do that with the sandhill cranes. Makes no sense. But they'll issue kill tags to farmers if they're doing crop damage because those things eat like fiends. And they kill them, and then you're allowed to burn them and bury them, but you're not allowed to eat them. Keep in mind, it's one of the tastiest meats. And so it's like, okay, the Department of Natural Resources, you're making some really, really, really stupid decisions. But if we leave it up to the people, the decisions are even stupider. So what system could we put in place? That's why it's always a conundrum with these situations is we end up in these situations where it's like there is a right answer, and it is based on science. And if we put it up to the public vote, we won't get that. But if we leave it completely up to the Department of Natural Resources, we don't really get it there either. So I don't know what to do.
I think the biggest issue, especially with like a situation with the wolves, the federal government decided they're endangered. They're not endangered in Michigan. They're endangered somewhere else. Move that back to each individual state. There's been like this weird shift where it's all hail the federal government, and there's less power to each individual state, which is the way it was designed to be originally. Power really was within the states, and then the federal government oversaw everything.
Yeah, they were just supposed to protect us with the military. And then they were supposed to be the judicial system.
Right.
And then they were supposed to...
So, I mean, this is a prime example of seeing that where they one thing affects all when it's not at all.
Yeah. The only way for any kind of animal control system to work is, number one, you have to keep track of the animal itself, the populations and that. You have to keep track of human interactions with that population. You have to keep track of habitat. You have to keep track of all these different things. But then on top of that, it has to be sustainable. How is a program like that going to make money? Oh, you sell hunting licenses. Now you're both making money and doing all the things you set out to do. How else are you going to make that happen?
And it's a renewable resource.
Yep.
So it keeps coming back as long as you manage it properly. The problem is, I think the best formula is to have the Department of Natural Resources, people being experts on it, giving information. The problem is, if they're wrong, then they have to just be wrong and shut up. like that's the thing. Like Gretchen Whitmer shouldn't be able to veto something like us being able to bait in Michigan. It makes absolutely no sense.
You're
it's
the
not
governor
based
of the people. You deal with the people. Let the DNR deal
well,
with
you don't
the
have,
animals.
Yeah, but the DNR is the one that, I mean, a lot of the DNR was against it too. It just doesn't. Yeah. I don't know what to do about it. I know that if you put it up to the public vote, you're going to get stupidity because not enough people know about this stuff.
Yeah.
I.e. the dove hunting thing.
Yeah.
Like I think it was like 25% or something years ago when they put it up for a vote in Michigan, because even the people that hunt just either didn't go out and vote, or on top of that they just were like, you don't got to hunt doves. It's like, doves are like the most widely hunted species in the world. More doves are killed than every other species across the face of the earth.
Because they're also one of the most prolific species.
And they taste pretty good.
Yeah.
And you get more meat than you'd think off of one. You know what I mean? You could eat 3 or 4 of them and have a meal. So
I'd say probably 2.
Well, you're on a diet, so.
Trust isn't built in a day. It's built over time. The early hours and the late nights. It's built by doing the work and pushing the limits every day. Because the promises we make are the promises we were built to keep.
If you'd like to help support the Greenway Outdoors, please like and comment on this podcast and subscribe to all of our channels.
You know, I wanted to talk about something I was a little bit more passionate about so when we started the television show itself and we were looking for sponsors and we were reaching out to different groups, obviously RAM was one of the first ones that we talked to, but these things move very slow. So in the course of trying to build a relationship, we were working with a group that was reaching out to a bunch of different companies that might be good fits for us to integrate into the show. And obviously we had conversations with other truck companies as well. And the reason why I'm saying this is not actually, we didn't even get this approved by RAM, and we didn't talk to RAM about me doing this, but the reason why I'm doing this is because as I go out and teach and speak at different wild game dinners and events and stuff like that, you know, you get some people that are like, oh, you know, Chevy this or Ford that, or that, you know, they'll try and
How often you get stuck out there?
yeah, like the good old fashioned type jokes. And
The
stuff.
worst.
Yeah, I know.
The worst.
That,
Every male over 50.
It's every guy who's ever seen someone else walk into a restaurant and go, well, I guess they'll let anybody in here now.
Yeah, and it's never funny. Ever.
Well, those jokes and those things kind of come all the time, but what I want my audience to know, the people that watch the Greenway Outdoors, the people that care about conservation, and also the number one compliment we get, and again, I didn't tell anybody that I was going to talk about this on the thing. Out of all the emails we receive all the time that come to our inbox, Ryan, I know you check them the most. What's the number one compliment we get about our show?
Well, it's not about the trucks, but it is about like the Bible verse and stuff.
Yeah, you're exactly right. The fact that we include a Bible verse in every episode of the actual TV show. Ram Trucks was actually the only organization in the auto industry that we talked to that didn't mind us having that in there. And I think that's important. For the audience that thanks us about including a Bible verse, Ram Trucks was the one that was like, yeah, that's fine. As long as it's inclusive to everybody, we absolutely don't have a problem with it. And I'll tell you, the other companies did. So I know people make those jokes and do all those sorts of things, but if you care about conservation, you care about the outdoors, and you appreciate the fact that we stand by our morals and ethics and include that in the television show, Ram Trucks was the company that was the one that was like, yep, I'm sticking with those guys. So I wanted to put that out there. That's something, again, I didn't tell anyone I was going to do. And I'm not putting beliefs on RAM. I'm not saying what their beliefs are, but the community and the organization that is at RAM, the like-minded individuals, the good people that care about conservation, the good people that care about the outdoor industry. It's no secret that right now across the entire outdoor industry, one of the truck companies is blanketing everything with advertisements. Advertisements everywhere. So it's no mistaken that you see them everywhere for one of our competitors. But at the same time, Ram is the one that's actually doing a lot. If you go to Ram Truck's website and you look at all the initiatives that they're doing inside the outdoor industry, not just hunting and fishing, but stuff that they're doing to clean up the oceans, different projects that they're actually working on, and the people that we've actually met with. It's not some corporate culture. I swear to you, it's almost like working with a startup business. Obviously, it's not, but the people that are at RAM, it's like working with a startup business, and they let us be us. And I will tell you what, if you listen to the Greenway Outdoors and you're passionate about what we do and you're passionate about the fact that we include these different elements in our show, then there's literally only one truck for you. And I felt the need to say that outside of any of the typical bumpers or advertisements or anything like that. So anyhow, moving on, I wanted to also mention that on our last podcast, we discussed the fact that Jeff had a
8-year-old turkey.
How old was it really?
It was. I bought it in mid 2020 as a little chick.
Okay.
So it'd be 2 years this summer. So it's a year and a half, not even.
Okay. A year and a half year old domestic turkey.
Was correct.
Ryan had some experience with chickens in his past.
Yeah.
Where they were how old?
Not even a year.
Not even a year. But because they were domestic,
Terrible.
they were egg
Not even a year?
No.
They were egg layers, right? Or were they meat chickens?
I think one was a rooster. Not like your big red roosters. Just
Was
some
it
other
a
breed.
giant Herculean looking thing?
A big red rooster? No.
Okay, then it was not a meat chicken.
Yeah.
So it was probably just an egg laying chicken.
These are standard farm chickens. It was not.
It didn't look like something was wrong.
Yeah, well, no, meat chickens are
Hey,
wild.
No, it was
Yeah.
not a meat
Yeah,
chicken.
so it was like probably an ISO brown or
Is a meat chicken like a
buff.
Tyson chicken farm?
Yeah,
chicken?
just those white feathered
Oh.
fatties.
Yeah, if you look at a meat chicken, you're like, boy, you big. It ain't what you're thinking.
It's like domestic turkeys are now, where they're like, their breasts are so big it like drags on the ground. They can't get around, like they can't naturally.
I'm into it.
They can't naturally reproduce because they can't physically get it together.
I see.
They'll have like broken legs and hips because they're so heavy.
Right on.
just heavy breasts, you know.
Anyways,
That's a shame.
these were standard chickens that you would
Regular
go to.
chicken.
It's a regular chicken.
So move on.
Egg laying chicken. It's worth because a meat chicken, it might be a different story to a degree. But this is an egg. These are egg layers. Probably ISO browns or buffs.
No, they weren't.
No,
Bantams.
For sure weren't.
Bantams. Okay.
How old? Do we know
I'm
how
sorry.
old chickens were?
I'm sorry. It was 86 weeks.
It's like it's a baby.
I hate.
I
that.
hate
it.
52 weeks. Okay, that
mean
means
a
nothing
year?
to me.
Your kid's a year. Make him his own cake and let's get the show on the road.
It's already been born. Get over it.
So you took care of business.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you do it?
Come on.
Club?
No, you
Come
do it.
on.
The most humane way to kill any kind of backyard poultry is to hang it upside down.
Mm-hmm.
They tend, the blood rush into their head. They don't pass out, but they kind of like go in this like trance, so they get a little more calm. And then you rub right on their jugular, and then you keep rubbing so they get used to that feeling. And then you take a knife and they like, oh, a quick pain, but it's very quick. It's not something that's like, oh no, it continues to hurt, and then the blood's going out. So now their brain is immediately not getting blood anymore, and then it's maybe 4 or 5 seconds, and then at that point they're already doing the nerve thing
'Cause they're
that
gone.
you've witnessed when they're basically gone.
It's as quick as possible.
At that point, it's just a ball of electric impulses. It's no longer they're not conscious anymore, basically.
Yeah.
It's just nerves.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
nerves. It's just nerves.
Did you take a video?
No, I did not take a video.
You're a dark little dude.
You're a dark soul.
Was it a lot of blood?
No,
What do you mean no?
it was a relatively small amount of blood.
Really?
Yeah.
We're gonna.
So with no head chop method?
No head chop.
No,
maybe?
they
You know,
fly
when you
away that
ch-
way.
Decapitation?
Oh no! You just, as long as you cut from one of the sides, they've got a thing going down. You cut in.
Did he run or not?
No, he didn't. He didn't run. They're not quite like chickens. You cut in on one side, and you just real quick, sharp knife, as real, good force, and it goes all the way down to the bone. It cuts the windpipe, it cuts the vein, and then they just bleed out. Like I said, maybe 4 or 5 seconds tops.
I think we're holding on
And
this
then it's
subject
just
a little
nerves.
long. Anyways, Jeff had
So
a
how much blood?
He was insistent.
Okay, so
It was long.
and then what was the next step?
Then from there, I brought it inside because crows were already circling.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was quick. I was like, I walked back in to start prepping stuff, and I open the door and I hear, I'm like, wow, that was fast.
They might have been timing you out because you're so bald.
I was wearing a hat.
Like he could be on his way out, like when they saw you.
They smell
Like that guy's half
There
dead.
would be blood, or
He doesn't even
a
have a hair in his
carcass.
head
You're
left.
thinking of vultures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So anyways, I prep the stuff. I come back out. They're already circling. So I run in. I run out, grab the bird, bring it inside. Quick Y incision. Open it up. Pull out the breastitis, and then from that cut, you can just open it up further. Break the hips open. Cut the meat around the hip bones. Pop those out. And that's it.
So you just treated it like you. Now, did you eat eggs?
Similar to how we do ducks.
Did you eat eggs out of this turkey?
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I kept it, because it laid. They're like, oh, turkeys only lay like 20-some eggs a year or something like that. I'm like, I would probably say for the entirety of the time I had it, it probably, once it started laying eggs, probably laid at least one a week, if not more.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And then on top of that, the chickens all saw it as like the main brooder. So I have boxes where they are supposed to lay eggs. It's like built so that they will do it there, but they would do it in the middle of the floor. The turkey would come lay its egg and then sit on all of them. So when I'd come collect eggs, there'd be one turkey in the middle of the coop. I would have to like
Nothing to see here.
pick her. I'd have to pick her up and move her, and then there'd be like 10, 12 eggs underneath her. It's like, what are you doing?
That's awesome.
It makes sense. She's the biggest, would be the warmest.
Always tasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you would do that, and then she kind of quit laying eggs, and then she ate so much and pooped so much and she didn't bring any more value.
And and at some point, again, like I always say, they're livestock. I'm not trying to they're not pets. I don't name them. At some point I have some amount of, turnover where I get rid of the old ones to make room for the new ones. And in this case, the turkey was eating enough food and pooping enough poop for like probably 4, 5, 6 chickens. It's like, okay, that's enough.
And you're not laying eggs.
Thank you very much for your eggs.
It's time.
Rent's been past due for several weeks.
So the Ryan's take on this, because of his chicken experience, was that this turkey is going to taste awful.
Yeah.
Now, since then, we've taken kind of a over-under. We don't really know how that works still, but we've taken some bets
To this day, still
on
no.
what we thought the situation would be.
I'd like to justify the way I ate these chickens. It was like full body, like you got it like almost like a rotisserie chicken, but not quite as well done, like well cooked.
So there were innards still, and it was gross. We basically ate it raw. That was disgusting.
No.
When
I say well cooked, I'm not well
always
cooked, well prepared.
He's always liked his chicken medium rare.
Yeah, and pig too.
What, not well seasoned or not well?
Yeah, kind of. It was just relatively bland, but I don't even think that would have mattered if we had done it well. It was just very tough meat that you would have spent 2 months soaking it in something to really get it relaxed. It just was not good. It was bad.
Yeah.
So how did you prepare it?
Well, last week I said I was going to sous vide it.
Oh man.
And then once I started looking into getting all the stuff ready,
I couldn't get the bath water up to temperature.
Number one, it was 10 p.m. yesterday after we finished. After I made dinner for Valentine's Day, and then I, on top of that, had to make a soup for you schmucks. So I ended up just
what
doing
was
it.
that? What was that you just did?
What? Make soup for you schmucks?
Why are you doing that voice?
Have you ever seen Coming to America?
I've seen Jungle
Movie
to
with-
Jungle. That's similar,
The
right?
sequel?
Yeah. Jungle to Jungle is one of my favorite movies as a kid.
It's a great movie.
And
Tim Allen.
he's coming to America.
I don't know what it is.
National treasure.
Yeah.
Unless something happened to him in the news recently, in which case he'd be a jerk.
Matika.
He's just got a little powder on his nose, but he's cleaned that up.
No, Coming to America
This is
with
college
Eddie
years.
Murphy. He's a guy. He lives in, was it like Zimbabwe or
I've never seen it.
something?
You've never seen Coming to
Really?
America? I've seen that.
Wow.
We've
That's
seen
great.
I'm very surprised he's
I am
seen it,
very
but you haven't. It
surprised,
came
too.
out way before he was
Is
born.
Is there a
3.
rule on not
Yeah.
watching movies before you were born?
We've seen
Know your generation.
We've seen
So
Jungle to
anyways.
Jungle.
So Eddie Murphy, similar to like Nutty Professor, he plays like
A bunch
4
of
or
characters.
5 different characters, and they're all sitting in a barber shop. And I don't remember exactly the lead-in, but he also plays an old guy, and he's sitting there, and he's got a little mustache, whatever, and it doesn't look anything like Eddie Murphy. And he's like, "Hey, I got a joke for you." He goes, "A guy walks into a restaurant. He walks into a restaurant. He sits down. He orders the soup. Waiter brings out the soup. And the guy goes, "Hey, what's wrong with this soup?" He goes, What's wrong with the soup? Is the soup too hot?" He goes, "I don't know. Just taste the soup." Waiter goes, "But is the soup too cold?" He goes, "I don't know. Just taste the soup." He goes, "Fine, I'll taste the soup. Where's the spoon?" He goes, "Aha." He didn't have a spoon. And that was him telling the waiter to get him a spoon.
Oh my god.
That whole elaborate thing. It's like,
Yeah.
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 so anyways. So I made soap for you schmucks.
Jungle to Jungle.
Do we have spoons?
Good.
On the other,
That's what
Tim
we saw.
Allen didn't feel the need to play 5 characters. He's good enough being himself.
Ryan, when we were a kid, it was like a big deal. I remember Aunt Niecy would take me to Blockbuster, and we would rent movies, and that was like a big thing to do for the weekend. And you'd get
I remember that.
so Ryan, listen.
So
So
before you were born,
I remember one weekend, I was like, Laurel, you can have the other 2 because normally we'd argue. You get 3 for some value.
Mm-hmm.
So we get
3 for $5.
Not that Aunt Niecy would ever tell us no, but I was like, Laurel, you can have the other 2. I watched Jungle the Jungle 4 times. And it's how I learned to fish like that, where he grabs the fish.
I have no idea what that is.
Came out in 97.
Jungle the Jungle is a good movie.
It is awesome.
Is it like Zoom?
No, way better.
Also Tim Allen?
It is
The hell
Tim
is
Allen.
Zoom?
It's Tim
Hey,
Allen superhero
know
movie.
your generation.
No, Zoom wasn't very good.
It was a good kid movie.
You know, it was a thing though. Is you're describing that it was like Back to the Future, where Shaky, what's his name?
Michael J. Fox.
Michael J. Fox. I meant that in the nicest way. I really like Michael J. Fox, but it might Michael J. Fox. He played like 10 characters in that movie. He's a great actor.
The second one.
Yeah, like and I I was coming down the stairs and I got AJ. I go, Mom, is that you? And I did like that thing, and he nailed it. He knew exactly what I was doing.
Where he played his own daughter.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. God, that's hot.
My favorite was when he played his own great whatever grandfather, and he was an Irish farmer.
Oh, that's right.
I like
in the
that.
third one.
Seamus?
Maggie, fetch some water for the. It's pretty good.
I feel like I've known him my whole life.
God, you don't have a good hat. I like how he goes into town though, and he's like the schmuck of the town though for wearing those stupid hats. Yeah. He's like, oh. Anyhow, so Jeff brought the turkey, killed it for us, and then made soup because we all thought it was gonna suck. So let's try the soup.
Here it is. Show.
We going?
Noodles are a little overdone. Did it in a crock pot. What do you
Well,
expect?
This is a rather large piece of turkey, so.
Yeah, I left the meat bigger so we could, get a good judge of the meat. Well, if it was bad, he would have spit it out, so that's already something.
And he spit.
No? Not a fan?
Keep
Was it the lemon?
How much lemon did you put in?
What is this, spit soup?
Half of one lemon into a 6-quart thing of soup?
Does it taste extra way tangy?
I haven't tried it.
I don't know. No one's tried it.
I'm trying to show everyone the giant hunk of turkey. Will it be tough?
Flavor is good. All right. What? Did you have it?
And
Turkey is a little tough.
Is it? You think so?
I think it's my. Keep in mind though, has anyone noticed that this recipe tastes like everything else he cooks?
My cut wasn't.
He makes squirrel and it'll taste just like this.
I like the seasonings I like.
That's all he does.
He's like, oh, I thought we were trying squirrel.
Yeah. This is squirrel.
I would say this. I've had worse turkey.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I've had worse turkey.
What are we eating exactly? What
lemony.
cut? Just breast?
Breast. Yeah.
That's it?
Mm-hmm.
My sister is like the greatest Thanksgiving chef ever. Makes everything by scratch.
All right.
Everything she made this year was phenomenal. And I didn't tell her until right now because she's probably listening, but the turkey was not great. It wasn't.
She's got to sous vide it.
Everything else was amazing. The turkey, not so much.
She got
I got one
to
of
put it
those.
in her bathtub.
I got one of those big syringes, and you fill it with garlic butter, and then you stab and
I
poke.
don't suppose you did that for this.
You make a little pocket. No, because I didn't want to make it like over the top great. I wanted to make it so that you taste the meat.
Yeah, it's actually not that bad. It's a lot of lemon, but
Yeah, the lemon was a little much, but
I don't mind the soup.
everyone was all about lemon and soup.
What's going on with the noodles?
Well, we took too long during the last segment, and they overcooked a little.
Now they're paste.
That's the noodles.
If we had the proper time or a stove in the office, or a stove in the office, I would have
Noodles
boiled
are
them
disgusting.
separate and then added. But I just said, did you not just hear us talking?
No,
about
I did,
don't
but I didn't
do
think
the
they were that
noodles?
bad. They're actually like
Yeah,
like,
they're overcooked.
it's like taking blank flavored toothpaste and squirting it in your mouth.
Which is funny because I checked just a little bit ago and they were like almost ready. I'm like, perfect. We'll do one more segment and we'll be great.
If you would have just let me talk about Jungle
Had
the
to talk
Jungle the
about
first time. That being said, yeah, year-and-a-half-year-old turkey. Cooked it in
I will
soup.
say it's good.
It's not
perfectly
bad.
fine.
I thought it was
It's
going to be
not bad.
terrible.
The bets that we had going was bet number 1 was AJ, who said it would have no flavor.
He goes, no flavor, just like everything else he cooks.
He actually,
Give me this soup.
that is what he said. I mean, to a,
Sorry,
was
it's time to
that?
take out the garbage.
TARDIS.
Oh,
you have an alarm to, We'll talk about that later. What world do you live in that you need to know? Anyhow, AJ's bet was that it was going to have no flavor. My bet was that there was going to be too much pepper, like everything else you make. And Ryan's bet was it wouldn't be completely cooked and it would be a big deal when you got here. So Ryan wins.
No flavor. Too much of one flavor.
And he wouldn't have it all the way cooked.
I also said it would look like Auschwitz soup.
If I showed up with a fully prepared soup after
too much pepper,
after not being home for like 8 to 10 hours before I got here, what would you guys have expected? We don't have cooking here. Am I going to Traeger grill it? Or it's going to be cold? What?
Please, sir, can I have some more? On that note, the turkey wasn't half bad. So, 1.5-year-old turkey.
So if you want your own bowl, go online and ask us, and we'll ship you one.
Nope.
We won't. That was my last turkey.
On that note, thank you so much for tuning in to episode 81 of the Greenway Outdoors podcast. We hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to check out our TV show, The Greenway Outdoors. You can find it on our website, thegreenwayoutdoors.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. Stay green.